Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where I have realized that Danish Niger is in this war, and we need to do something about them. Luckily we've got this army here that has no orders right now, so I'm going to tell them to just head directly down over here, with the idea being that they can offensive line basically where they want to here. Okay, that's interesting. Right, this is in that inaccessible area. I think we just need to control the nearby territory for that to actually function. So for that to happen, we would need to do something kind of like this, in theory. And we'll tell them to execute that once they get there, but it will take some amount of time for them to arrive, right? So that's okay for now. Now, we're currently working on this over here. That's making progress. Indeed, that is certainly making progress. And we have tanks arriving over here eventually, but currently arriving is the Marines. The tanks are not too far away, if I recall correctly. Yeah, they're like right down over here. Sure. So that's looking solid. We've got our forces arriving here. So we're just going to be pushing in, and these should fall fairly quickly with no major concerns there. The question now is, how far away are these units? Where were they originally located? Okay, they were down here? Gotcha, so that's not too bad, actually. They'll make their way over there relatively quickly. I just hope that they don't cut us off over here. It would be slightly obnoxious if they did, but it's not the end of the world, either way. We're definitely seeing solid gains over here. We've linked this up. Yeah, this is looking absolutely fine. We're just absolutely dissecting these nations right now. So that looks fine. No issue whatsoever here. They don't really have a way to do this. This just isn't going to work for them. So that looks good. We're going to get rid of Danish Niger, and we are still going to need to figure out a way to get to Costa Rica. And the question is, how do we go about doing that? I don't suppose Ecuador would give us access. They'd give us docking rights, but I believe that we need military access in order to actually do a naval invasion through their ports. That said, they don't have a port, so there's that. Indeed, it's very awkward that we can't attack this side. There must be a way to do that, right? There must be. So, a naval invasion from here over this way. We could, I suppose, attack Colombia. That's an option, but the U.S. control of the Panama Canal would be problematic for us. That said, we might be able to naval invade here. I don't know that that's a good result, though. But yeah, this is just going all the way around. We need to have naval control all the way around South America. So this is just not an option, as we previously determined. So what would the next best option end up being? Probably it would end up being an attack launching from like out over here. We'd have to build a naval base for that, and we'd have to control 1, 2, 3, 4 sea zones. That's pretty extensive considering our fleet was just blown up by Britain. Did we capture any British ships when they capitulated? Hang on. I want to check this. No, we did not. We have 47 ships. Okay. We can probably make that work. We would need at least a level 1 naval base. Somewhere around here. So let's get that started, and that's fine for now. We do want to get this taken care of. They have managed to cut this off. Okay. I think we can probably land here. But I want to have at least some of these forces. So, let's see. What army is this? This army. I want to have all of these guys assigned here for now. But I'm going to grab half of them, and we're going to assign them to this side. Something like that. And then these guys are going to be responsible for offensive lining. Just something like this. That'll be reasonably fine for now. And they can get started on that as soon as they arrive. They're making their way over, but they're still a ways away. And that's absolutely fine. We're not too concerned about that right now. Guatemala controlling this is definitely irritating. There's no doubt about that, because we can't build land forts up here. Because Guatemala doesn't let us do that. Is that something that we can negotiate with them? I suppose we could ask for control of state. We'd want Rio Grande, Chihuahua, Sonora, and Baja California. So Baja California, Rio Grande, Sonora, and Chihuahua. We'll see if they'll give us that. They've accepted. Fantastic. So that gives us this territory up here, which allows us to build land forts right up through here. Not there. And just fortify this front. We're not at war with the US yet. We might as well get going on that. Now, this is still a top priority. We can also work on the naval base down over here. And I want to do that. Top priority. And we can work on the railways through here and just make sure that this front has good railway coverage. So that would be something along the lines of this or so. It's already kind of awkward railway coverage. But something like that. We would want to make sure that there's a supply hub here, a supply hub here, and probably a supply hub about here as well. So something along those lines. Then we would need to make sure that this railway is leveled up. We'd make sure that this is connected at all. And that would come in about like that. Okay. Now the top priority is still working on the naval base in Tonga. So we'll get that going. A lot of this will finish up quite quickly. So that's fine for now. Okay, so Danish Niger is still being jerks out over here, and we'll get there eventually. Cambodia has capitulated, which isn't surprising. The tanks are barely arrived, and Dainam will capitulate very soon as well. So I want this to definitely be larger than this. We're going to have their front line span from here, and also down here. Get in there. Cool. So something along those lines. We're just going to kick Dainam out of here. They're going to capitulate very soon as well. So this is going to be over here very, very shortly. Danish Niger, things are a little bit spicier. No doubt about that. These guys might get redirected up over here. I wouldn't be surprised if they do at this point. Yeah, that's going to happen. So all of these lads that are currently assigned here, they should be reassigned to be here. We're just going to give up on this side, and that's okay. So Danish Niger has taken a lot of territory, but that's understood. We'll get that out of there as soon as these lads arrive, which, where are they? Okay, they're not too far away. They're being worked on. Sounds good. Okay, so continuing to work on this territory over here. I want these guys, actually they're just moving in as is. Are we currently hitting Saigon? We're not, and we should, because it's undefended. So I'm going to send a unit over there, and with the fall of Saigon, I actually expect Dainam to capitulate. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So that's fine. We've got all of these guys that now do not have orders. That's understood. Who else do we have in here? So we've got Costa Rica and Danish Niger. Okay. So, as far as Costa Rica goes, we need this naval base to be finished first. That's mission number 1. Going to be done on 12 July? Okay, that sounds good. We're going to need to have some amount of navy here. So I'm going to group these guys together. Like so. They're going to merge over. And they're currently docked in Flanders. We'll need to get them moved out of there, obviously. That's fine. Okay. I just noticed we control the Suez Canal. Thanks, Britain. Okay, so that is wonderful. Yeah, this is absolutely okay at this moment. We're going to start seeing our infantry arriving here very shortly. And this guy is still holding out for now. We'll see how long he manages to do that. Eventually, they'll get there. Cool. And supplies should be okay here as well. I honestly don't expect Danish Niger to actually be a problem. I just didn't realize they were part of this. If I had, I would have crushed them with the forces that were right over here. But yeah, this is fine. We're not concerned about them in the slightest. So this is completely okay. We'll get there eventually. We just need our forces to arrive. So that looks good. We've got these divisions unassigned. This guy is going to go almost certainly here. And are you a real infantry division or a fake one? You're a real one. Okay, so you are going to go here as well. Looks good. Now, we've got this unit here, which is going to go, I guess, here, or maybe even... Yeah, here's fine. We could put them out here. It doesn't really matter. It's all good. Okay, so we're going to be working on attacking over here. Our infantry are not the greatest attackers in the world, but they have very, very small numbers. Once we manage to work through some of this a little bit, work through some of their supplies and organization, it won't be a problem. So this is looking good. I'm actually going to adjust this order, though. This order does not need to be in this situation. So we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to give them a new offensive line, which is just push to the eastern side here. That'll be absolutely fine. And get going on that. It's these guys? Yeah, it's these guys. Okay, get going on that. Beautiful. Now, as far as supplies over here go, it may end up being quasi-grim. We'll see. But this is okay for now. I feel like this is under control. They have nowhere else they can expand to, and we're pushing them back. So I'm not too concerned about that at this time. Now, it's 20 July, which means that this naval base is finished. So I'm going to grab these guys, and we're going to tell them to do a naval invasion order from here all the way over to Costa Rica. And I believe this is also including communist Costa Rica. It is not. It's just Costa Rica. Okay. Noted. So that's fine. We're going to do a naval invasion from here to here. And we'll get started on preparing that. Next, we're going to need to... 5 sea zones. Not 4 sea zones. That's sad. Not the end of the world, but it is sad. Okay. So there's basically no navy opposing us at this time, and we can definitely make this happen. So that'll be fine. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell these guys to head on out here. We're going to open up the task force composition editor. I'm going to bring these up to 99 so that the reserves all come into this fleet at all times. And we're just going to do something like that. Okay, so now there will be no reserves. What is this fleet? It's the same fleet? It's the same fleet. Okay, so that seems fine. We're going to have them be patrolling in the Pacific Line Ridge. It's going to take them some time to get there, and we're going to need to split this. So that is something that we're definitely going to do. We're going to have the current selection of ships, and I'm going to move those into a new fleet here. Uh-huh. Yeah, this is fine-ish, but I wanted this to move into, like, a full new fleet. Okay, whatever. This is a new task force. I wanted it to be a full fleet, but whatever. I guess that's okay. So we're going to have them come patrol the Central Pacific. And both of these are patrolling the Central Pacific. Okay, that's not what I wanted at all. This is why I wanted it to be a different fleet. Let's, can we select both of these? No, we cannot. This is actually the same fleet, isn't it? It is. Select all. Yeah, this is very confusing. Okay, we'll come back to that. Navies in this game work in a really weird way. No doubt about that. We'll get there. First, they need to actually show up in the region, which will take some time. Let's check in on Danish Niger, and as expected, as this front widens, they're doing very badly. We absolutely expected that, and they're going to capitulate very, very soon here. This war is very nearly over. That looks good. So these guys are going to be able to launch their attack in a number of days. They're going to have to arrive here first, and they're actually not that far away, so that looks good. No problem there. Let's go back into this naval view at this point. And the question is, have we arrived here? And the answer is no. Where are we right now? Well, let's That's the task force composition editor. Yeah, I want to select this and look at where they actually are. Okay, they're coming around South America right now. So that seems relatively fine. Now, if we have the current selection of ships, and we click to create a new fleet, it doesn't actually create a new fleet. It gives us this. And unassigned the regions. Okay. But we're going to take them out over here for right now. We appear to have a bit of an issue going on. I wonder if this is because we don't have a commander. Maybe. So if we come here, have the current selection of ships, create a new task force. So I want this task force here, if we can actually get the task force. I want this task force here to be in the Pacific Line Ridge. And yeah, it puts both of those in that. So I want a new fleet here in the Central Pacific. Like that. That's what we want. Okay. Now we're going to put this guy in here. Nope, that's the same guy. We want this guy in here. Navies in this game are... Well, navies in every game are weird. There's a reason I don't use navies. So we want to split this again, right? So I want to select this task force, have the current selection of ships. I want to create a new task force out of those and create a new fleet out of that. What did it just do? It created... It moved these into the same fleet. No, I said to create a new fleet. Okay. So we're going to do this. These guys are going to head into the East Pacific Ridge. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have... Or we're going to select all here. I'm going to have the selection here, create a new task force, create a new fleet, but this put it in the same fleet. We're going to create a new fleet. There we go. And that'll go to the Mexican coast. Now, which of these should we split things off of? It'll be this. So we want to select all, have the current selection of ships, create a new task force, put that in a new fleet, but that should be an actual new fleet. Like so. And apparently that unassigned our admiral as well. Okay. That's fine. We can put these admirals in for now. And I want this to be assigned in the Western Canal Zone. Now, I think some of these cleared the regions. East Pacific Rise, Mexican Coast. Okay. You can be assigned to the Central Pacific. And then you can be assigned to the Pacific Line Ridge. Now, this should be fine because there are no opposing ships. This is clearly not intended to be a combat maneuver. This is just to facilitate this invasion. So that should be reasonably fine. Our forces should be arriving there relatively presently. Okay, have our Marines arrived here yet? The answer is no, they have not, but they're close. So they're on their way in. That looks good. Okay, Danish Niger basically no longer exists at this time. It will cease to exist in moments, so that looks good. We're currently failing to attack their capital, but this is not a big deal. This is absolutely under control. We're attacking this with just infantry. And, okay, somebody dropped a nuke on them. I don't think that's worthwhile, but sure. We're stockpiling our nukes, and we'll use them on the US if we feel like we need to. We'll see how necessary that ends up being. I want to check in on our US construction here. Okay, this looks pretty decent, honestly. We're working on getting those land forts underway. Now, there's still a bunch of land forts down here that need to get worked on. That's fine. We'll absolutely get that done. First, I want to get... Oh, hello. So the invasion of Costa Rica was not necessary. That's interesting. Costa Rica must have been a vassal under Mexico. Okay. That seems fine. So we're going to take all of the everything. We're going to prioritize in Mexico, but we can't actually select everything here. So we want to absolutely prioritize Rio Grande. We want Sonora, Baja California, and Chihuahua. Absolutely top priority. Beyond that, we can go into Cambodia and select all of that. Then we can go into Costa Rica, select all of that. Dainam, select all of that. Gaza, we cannot quite get all. Yeah, we can get Botswana, and that's it for now. So we'll submit those demands. And we can see Guatemala took a little bit of Mexico there. So we want to prioritize the rest of Mexico if we can. So we're going to get all of this for right now. And we'll submit those demands. Okay, so there's some contested demands here. We'll demand them. Apparently that doesn't work. Sure. And for now, we're just going to take all of this. There we go. In Gaza, we'll take whatever we can. And in Poland, we'll take whatever we can as well. And then Danish Niger, we need to wait a bit. So we need to resolve this, and I would like to demand these. It doesn't appear to actually work because we need to select it. That does work. Okay. I'm dumb. Okay, so we're not going to take Poland just yet. We'll submit those demands. And again, we want to take everything here. So all contested demands have been resolved. And in Gaza, we're going to take all of that. Yep, in Mexico, that looks good. In Poland, we'll take all. And then in Danish Niger, we'll take Togo for the moment. There we go. And we'll demand all of these. Perfect. We want to take everything for ourselves, to be clear. That is absolutely what is happening here. Okay, so we're going to demand these for ourselves. Perfect. And at this point, I believe we have... Yep, we need these to be demanded. Which means that we can't actually do this. We'll submit that demand for right now. And then the Niger Delta will actually not actually be will not be able to take this? Hang on. Oh, because we need to pass. We don't have enough score. We're not actually getting more score. So unfortunately, who's going to get this? Netherlands? Well, I guess that's not the end of the world. Sure, we'll do that. We're not getting additional score, so this will have to be fine. Wait, Netherlands didn't actually get that. Intriguing. Okay, so we got everything. That is absolutely perfect. This, of course, this naval invasion here, no longer necessary. So I'm going to disband all of these fleets. And that is absolutely fine. Why were there 3 task forces there? Okay. Very confusing. The naval system in this game is baffling, but whatever. It's fine. So next up, of course, we need to work on some various things. Specifically, we need to send these guys out over here. That'll be fine for now. But we have some free dockyards, and we should probably put those to work. We have 3 of them. Okay, I'm thinking we get another line of carrier hulls going. So that'll be fine. We'll get those online. Then we've got free military factories. Now that's an interesting thing for sure. I want to take a look at our... Okay, we've got plenty of modern tank chassis here. Modern small airframes. Let's bump up our production of close air support fighters. That looks good. So something like that is fine for now. Now, in our constructions here, we've got a fair amount of constructions that we want to get done very quickly, right? That is absolutely understood. We've got these areas here. This is not our territory, is it? But we can definitely build infrastructure here. There's infrastructure over this way that we can get built. Let's see. What else do we want to build? Probably some infrastructure out over here would be the way to go. I'm not necessarily building this in locations that we don't control, right? So that's fine for now, but we want to get this infrastructure maxed out as soon as possible. The infrastructure, honestly, is a fairly high priority. I'm not planning on immediately jumping into war with the US. So this would be reasonably fine to get this done. At this point, we have enough defenses in most of these areas. Like, all along these borders. So that should be reasonably fine. I want to be able to harvest as much material as we can out of Mexico. So we'll definitely get all of this done. There we go. And then we should also make sure that we absolutely have anti-air along this border. And this border as well. So something along the lines of that should do. We're going to eventually want to build anti-air like everywhere, but that is like low priority, right? So that's relatively fine. Checking in over here, there's some more infrastructure to be put in the oceans. Is this our territory down here? It is. Okay, so we'll get all of that underway. This is Dutch territory over here. This might be what they ended up getting, which is fine. There's also this tiny little bit out here. Sure. Seems good. So something along the lines of that. Bahamas, yep, definitely should get that going. And we don't control a lot of that territory over there. So what's down here? Yeah, this is just territory we don't personally control. That seems relatively fine. So we're going to get going on that infrastructure. I don't think we need anything other than maybe this here. Yeah, this here. Looks good. We should also maybe consider building land forts here and fortifying the Suez. Probably not the worst of ideas in the world. I'm also going to tell these guys to area defense the Suez. Now, as far as area defending Mexico goes, do we want to do that? And what about the new territories that we conquered? Here. Maybe. That's a hard maybe. For the time being, I think we definitely area defend these. I think we don't area defend here or here anymore. Those are definitely no longer necessary. That's not necessary either. So that will help matters a little bit. As far as area defending Mexico goes, I don't know that we want to do that, to be quite honest. For the time being, I'm thinking that the 2 armies that are down here should probably end up being sufficient, and I'm going to grab this army group order here. So I want the army group to go away here. There we go. And the army group is going to get orders to frontline here. So it'll be something like that. Now we have this infantry unit, and I'm going to tell that unit to come frontline here, but then I'm going to grab half of the selection and tell them to frontline over here. About like that. Now, the question is, what do we want to do with Marines? Actually, maybe this is a better thing for our Marines to do if we're going to fight the US next. So that would mean Marines would be here, and then here. And then we can have the infantry unit here, delete all their orders. They can come in and be either here or assist here. So the idea then would be that we would grab these guys, delete this order, and this would now become an army group order for the army group to frontline here. Like that. Okay. So that's underway. We'll start shuffling around these units. Of course, we're not going to defeat the United States navally. That's fine. We're going to want to stay at peace for a little bit here and get a bunch of this construction completed. That's going to take some time. Because that's absolutely going to be a very useful thing for us. But for now, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue our preparations to fight the US, who is the last remaining big boy. And honestly, we're in a really good spot to fight them at this point. Their inaction has cost them greatly. Imagine how difficult it would have been if the US had joined Britain. That would have been spicy, no doubt about that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.